I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Paul W.S. Anderson talk about one of my favorite horror films, which I saw promoted on
Yep,
social
yep.
media. Yes, Event
Yeah.
Horizon. Oh man,
Yeah, Event Horizon is I don't know if you saw that in the theater when it first came out, but I did. And what wow, talk about having the rug pulled out from under you. I think they sold it as Infinite Space, Infinite Terror on one of the better posters that didn't have a bunch of photoshopped faces on it that showed the ship, the Event
oh
Horizon.
yeah, those days people had the faces like a
But
collage of faces,
a lot like the most boring posters in the history of
like
yawning.
spear.
But I do have to say that I knew that they were sort of selling it as a horror movie, but I figured I didn't know what I was in for. I just wanted to. It looked amazing, amazing production design. Was what really lured me in. And I remember watching that movie, not expecting the movie to literally go to fucking hell.
Yeah. Well, there was I heard a few infamous scenes that was removed,
Hmm.
which I saw a glimpse of. When they had the whatever the recording, the video log, and I'm
Right,
like,
right,
oh, this
right.
is definitely hell in space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally think, for me at least, especially after I did a rewatch after many years, I do actually like the less is more approach. I mean,
Mm.
yeah, they shot a lot more footage, but I think it would have gotten old quick if it was like a live action rendition of a Hieronymus Bosch, hellscape, you know?
Mm. Well, it definitely was more Hellraiser in space than Bloodlines.
Absolutely, absolutely. Another movie that came out in 95, 96. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
probably. Yeah.
Well, listen, we have Doug Bradley along for the ride, so
Good old Doug.
you might get a little insight into Hellraiser 4.
I'm looking forward to that. Definitely. Okay, with Sinners becoming a breakout success, along with Final Destination Bloodlines, uh, box office take, do you feel that there is more room for horror in the world where cinema is saturated with superhero movies?
Yeah, absolutely. Horror, it's like a steady stream of really great content, and even the really average content is really good these days. And so I think you can get more mileage out of available technology, and it all comes down to so you get really good production values, but it all comes down to, is it a good story? Sinners, by the way, phenomenal movie, one of the best
Yeah,
of the year, in my opinion, and it's so rewarding watching a movie that you have high hopes for over delivering on your expectations. But that movie has among many influences on wearing it on its sleeve. It owes a lot
true.
to From Dusk Till Dawn. You
Yeah.
know, and but it's such a great film, and I haven't seen Bloodlines yet. I want to see it, but I'm too busy right now
Yeah, I'm
making.
curious. I never even got to see what is that thing, Thunderbolts yet.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a fun one. But it's uh there will always be room for horror, and I would call Bloodline, Sinners, I think is definitely an anomaly because it is an original film that's doing extremely well at the box office. Bloodlines, on the other hand, is the first is
Franchise.
first in the 25 years for the
Yeah.
Final Destination franchise. But that doing so well, Hollywood is all about trends. And so, they're making these movies and they're putting them out, and they probably, like Smile 2 and, things like that. They expect to pull in, if they're lucky, 30, 40, 50 million, and they're still pulling out a profit, because a lot of these movies are only made for 20, 25 million. Even if a moderate budget, it's still about 20, 25 million dollars. But if it could pull in 30, 40, 50 million, that's why, that's sort of the Blumhouse model, like Megan and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, my point is that I think Hollywood will look at something like Bloodlines and just their takeaway will be, ooh, dormant franchise that people missed from the early 2000s. Let's what else can we mine? But they're gonna more people at the studios are like horror will do very well at the box office
Mhm.
if you play your cards right. There's always articles about is horror back? And anyone who loves horror and follows horror and watches horror will say horror has never left. There's a steady stream. There are amazing streaming channels like Shudder devoted to horror and
Definitely.
original programming. Even on Netflix and on Amazon, they'll debut horror that you haven't seen in theaters. And there's an audience for it, and they do well. And it's for the reasons I mentioned. You could do it more often than not for a lower budget and get a great return on it. So it never went anywhere. If for those in the mainstream who all of a sudden prick up their ears and say, "Oh wow, Final Destinations, who knew? I never even heard of that franchise. What's that?" All of us in the horror section of the theater are giggling to ourselves. It's like, well, welcome to the party, pal. This stuff's great, and I'm glad more people are discovering it.
But however, I'm just happy to see Todd, I guess, make his final appearance.
Todd's final appearance. Yeah, yep. We full disclosure, we were talking to Tony Todd to get him in Search of Darkness 90 to 94 to talk about Candyman and talk about Night of the Living Dead remake, Savini's amazing remake.
One of the best remakes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's one of the standout remakes that's not a bad remake. It's really good. I return to it all the time. Around Halloween, it's sort of my ingratiate into Halloween mode horror watching. But we were talking to unfortunately Tony was unable to be in Search of Darkness 90s, but it was not for lack of trying and not for his lack of wanting to be in it. He wanted to be in it and agreed to be in it, but sadly, at the time, we wanted to keep his wishes private, and even us at the time didn't know exactly what was going on. We just knew that he was sick. So Tony loved the fans and loved the horror community, would spend hours at like a Monster Palooza talking to people in line, not just signing, but like having conversations with them. And, he was a horror, he was an actor with a capital A for all different genres. But horror, of course, was his bread and butter. Gone too soon.